Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I love that song. When the Spirit of the Lord comes upon me, I will dance like David danced. In days like this, we need to dance to make ourselves feel good, to give praise to God, and whatever else it takes to get you into that right place, that right place. And we're grateful to God for the opportunity to dance. And we can't get into we're just going back to our regular services. But I hope you've been dancing at home. I hope you've been dancing in the house. I hope you every now and then kick a leg in the store. Don't draw attention to it though. But as long as you can give God praise wherever you are, it is a blessed opportunity to do that. Well, I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated. And we have the great pleasure of rendering hope, encouragement, and inspiration to everybody around the whole wide world. We love to say that, around the whole wide world. And we want to welcome you to this platform. And this platform is called Project 365. We're so excited to be used by God to share messages of hope, encouragement, and inspiration. Well, today, I'm so excited. We have our co-host who is going to present the message today. If you noticed, she always gives something that is so mind-boggling. She gives feedback that makes you think, I never thought about it like that. And she is the perfect co-host. And I'm so grateful to God that God has connected us and we are like-minded. And what I might not do, she does. What she might not do, I do. And we work well as a team. So we say, to God be the glory. And at this second, I am going to bring in my co-host and she can take it away. Oh, her topic is on bullying. Don't you hate bullies? It's going to be on bulletin. Lord, help me, Jesus. Bullying. See, look, bullying. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that today. We're not going to do that tomorrow or any other day. But that experience right there is not a good one. And she's going to enlighten us on some experiences that she has had. And remember, I shared with you that individuals that we bring on Project 365 or individuals who have had that experience or is very knowledgeable of that particular topic. So today, Takira Swan, the one and only Takira Swan, is going to share with us her experience on bullying. Take it away.
Thank you so much. That was such a great intro. And I am so happy to be here as always. And I thoroughly enjoy working with you as well. And I'm so grateful that God has brought us together. Okay, so the topic of bullying is such a big one. So I'm just going to call this like part one, and maybe other parts we can break it down and we can add some more guests in, but let's just talk about bullying in general. So I'm going to give you just a little definition of a Webster's definition of bullying. And, to bully is to seek harm, intimidate, or coerce. And if you look online, they have so many different definitions of bullying, but the one that we usually refer to, it said a blustering, browbeating person, especially one who is habitually cruel, insulting, or threatening to others who are weaker or smaller than them in some way, and someone who's vulnerable. So that's the type of bully that we usually think of when you say, oh, such and such is a bully or being bullied, but there's so many different types of bullying. So one thing I do want you to do today is to ask yourself, like, have you been bullied, or have you been the bully? Or have you been in a situation where someone else was being bullied and you really didn't do anything about it? Like, why didn't you do anything? Was it because you were scared as well? Were you nervous? Did you think, well, it's none of my business? Because all of us, not all of us, most of us have experienced some sort of bullying, whether you were participating or you were watching. So we'll start there. So my first question to my wonderful host here is, have you ever bullied anyone, or have you been bullied yourself?
God is watching.
Yes.
Have I been bullied? I can't remember that I have, but I'm pretty sure that I've been intimidated many times. But as far as bullied, I can't say that I have. Have I been a bully? Are we talking about to our siblings, a little brother or sister or something?
Any type of bullying to anybody.
I'll just say I probably have. That's all.
And I'm sure most of us who do have siblings, you probably have been a little bit of a bully in some way. Because like I said, you don't have to be the type of bully. You could just be like a passive bully, like, you know what, let me intimidate my little siblings or my big sibling, to get what I want. So an example of that, because I have been bullied before, but I have also been a bully just a teeny bit to one of my siblings, and that's my sister, my baby sister, Janaea. So let me just give you this example. So when she was 5, I believe, her birthday is on March the 17th. She just had a birthday on St. Patrick's Day, and we're a couple years apart. So I don't even know why I did this, but on her birthday, I told her, she woke up, she was so excited, like, yes, it's my birthday. And I told her, they skipped the 17th this year. Why did I do that? I don't know. It just popped up. I was like, you know what? They skipped the 17th this year. And she's like, nuh-uh. And I was like, yeah. I was like, it's not even on the calendar. And I said, the president came on TV and he said, March 17th is not going to be, happening. So today's actually the 18th. And she was like, you mean to tell me I have to be 5 for a whole nother year? And I was like, yes, you do. And then to make matters worse, I had a co-signer, which was our dad. I was like, hey, Dad, right? Didn't the president say it's not the 17th? And he was like, yep. And she's like, oh my God, she was distraught. Now, something like that is so, like, it may be a little bit funny, but to a 5-year-old, that's a big deal. Like, what do you mean I have to be 5 for another year? Like, so that in itself, that little pranker joke, that is a form of bullying. It may not be that I'm going to beat you up bullying, but you have intimidated someone, you've ruined their little day, it took a minute. And even though that was such a small thing, to this day, she remembers that. And I was such a great big sister. I didn't do a lot to her, but that was like probably one of the only things. And that's what she remembers. Like, what? Out of all the great times we had, you remember when I told you we skipped your birthday? And she's like, yes. And she'll tell the world. So you just never know how your actions really affect someone. And one thing I have learned is that people who are bullied, they take on characteristics even that kind of maybe alter their genuine personality. And that may be just for a defense mechanism, or they've been bullied so much they have that learned behavior that now they have, they're now in the cycle of being a bully and repeating that cycle. And when you get into that cycle, it may be very hard to break out of without counseling, without help, without someone recognizing and saying, hey, I see this is going on, without condemning the person, because when you get condemned or you feel like you're being in trouble and being punished, it just repeats the cycle again. So one thing I did want to share are the different types of bullying. So I did a little bit of research, and there were 6 main types. So you have physical, you have verbal, you have the relational aggression, and that's more of like the mean girl type. So that's like, social manipulation, emotional bullying, trying to sabotage someone's like popularity or social status to increase your own. And that's also with the teasing, insulting, maybe you ignore someone, to the point where it torments them, you exclude them. And also with relational aggression, you have the bully bosses. Now our adults, I don't know if you know this. Think back. Has your boss been the type of leader? I mean, don't write it in the chat, of course, because they may see it. But have you had a boss that's been the type of leader who is very They could be insulting, very intimidating, very, you better do this or I'm going to do this type of leader. That really doesn't work for most leaders, I've learned. But I've actually had some bully bosses that just do not know how to lead, because like I said, I truly believe bullying is such a learned behavior. Then you have cyberbullying, you have sexual bullying, and you have prejudicial bullying, which is bullying based on prejudices between people who are different races, religions, or sexual orientation. So those are the 6 different types. And I just want to put that out there because, like I said, I really do want everyone listening, whoever views this, to reflect and think, have I been a bully? Because if you have been, it's never too late not to be a bully, but you can't change what you don't know. And if you have not been a bully, have you been bullied? Is that something, maybe a traumatic experience that you've had and you need to heal from it? Because when you don't heal from things, when you don't reveal things to heal from them, you just perpetuate the bullying cycle. Whether you pass it along to your children or your nieces and nephews or your friends. And bullying is such a big thing that I feel we as a society, especially in America, need to work on, because it affects everyone. And it's like a domino effect, it's like, have you ever been in a room where everyone's super happy and then someone comes in with a horrible attitude and like the mood just changes? That's kind of how bullying will affect an atmosphere or your life, and how to change other people's life in a negative way when you're a bully. And before I get to my bully story, I just want to share 3 websites. There's plenty out there, but one of them is stopbullying.gov. The other one is the American Psychological Association, so it's apa.org. And there's another one called stompoutbullying.org. And that one is based for kids and teens to kind of end the hate and change the culture of bullying. So if you are being bullied, if you know someone that's being bullied, if you have a child, a friend that's being bullied, I would encourage you to go to those websites, go to those resources, to seek help and to end the cycle. And now, if you're an adult, let's talk to my adults out here, and you've been bullied and you have not dealt with it. It's never too late. Now's the time to deal with it. It can be a little bit painful, but don't perpetuate that bullying cycle. I have in the workforce, so I had a associate that I met, and this is in the field of architecture. Now, architecture really traditionally hasn't been like a woman's field. And I met a woman who was really, really strong and powerful, and she was really short, a really short lady. And she had a really, really high position, high paying. It was a powerful position where she had to tell people what to do. But when I noticed her conversation with people, I said to myself, this is someone who's been bullied, because her conversation was very intimidating. And it was almost like, I have to prove something. So let me take these jabs at you first before anyone can say anything bad about me. And that's something we see a lot of times in the workplace, especially in office cultures. You have someone who's just, let me get you before you get me, or I've been teased before. I've been the person who maybe wasn't the smartest, didn't have the nicest clothes, so I'm going to show out and show up, and nobody's going to tell me, no one's going to put me in a corner again. So you have those types of personalities that have take on those learned behaviors. And once you deal with that pain that you've been through, it really does just release that burden off of your shoulders. And you may be a completely different person, because you may not be living your best life. You just may be existing and being in a constant state of defense, which is not a great thing to do. Once you get out of that, you feel so free. And it's like, you don't have to have that coat of that heavy burden, on you. Like, I always have to defend myself, even when you don't. Okay, so now to my bullying story. So growing up, I've only had like 2 bullies, which is more than enough. One was a girl, and I don't even know why this girl didn't like me, but both of my bullies were much older than me. And those of you that know me, I was such a little thing, like the majority of my life. So, and I don't know, I just, I grew up in my own little world of like sunshine and rainbows, and my outlook on life was so positive. And you could even say like slightly naive, because I just always saw like the best in everyone and everything. So while the girl, I feel kind of bad for her. I tried to look her up actually on Facebook, but maybe she got married. I don't know her last name now, just to see how she's doing. Cause I felt so bad for her. Cause as I got older, I was thinking, why was she acting that way? Like she was bad. So I grew up in Garden Village, and I lived there majority of basically all of my childhood. And I didn't leave Garden Village until like my almost till it's time for me to go to college actually. So and I had a great experience there. It's not the best neighborhood. It's definitely not the best neighborhood now, but it was my neighborhood, it's my home. So she had all the other kids in the neighborhood, like not to like me, and they wanted to play with me. Like, no, don't play with her because she thinks she's cute, like, and I'm just like, what? Like, okay, whatever. But put her to the side. My big bully, I was in the 9th grade, and my bully was a guy, and he was in the 12th grade. So that right there, in itself, it's just not good. And the way the whole bullying started is he accused me of scratching his hand, and I kept saying, well, it couldn't have been me that scratched your hand, because when I wasn't by you. And back then I used to bite my nails, like, because I'll be like nervous, just a little insecure, and I'm like, I don't have any nails to scratch you, but whatever. So that's something small. But then he became like this big bully, and like when I had to walk to my bus stop, I used to hate it so bad, because every time I went to the bus stop, he's there, he has to catch the bus with me, and he would just pick on me, have something to say, like, poke my head, like push me like into the street, like, push me like, oh, a car is coming, push me. He thought it was so funny. And of course there's other people on the bus stop. No one else does anything. My friends don't do anything because they're also in the 9th grade. I don't know if they were intimidated because he's a big, a 12th grader, but he was much bigger than me. But now that I think about it, we might be the same size now. So he's kind of short, so I could take him on now. But but back then, being a 9th grader, I was 12, turning 13. So I was just a little, short thing. And it just got to the point where I just did not want to go to school anymore. And for me, that's a big thing, because I love, school. I love going to learn. I loved being with people. And of course I wasn't going to tell my parents, like, I'm not going to snitch. Like, no one, no one grows up. We have the whole snitch culture. No one does that. So I'm going to be a big girl. I'm just going to handle it. And it just got to the point where I just did not want to go. And one time my mom was passing my room, and she said, what's wrong? And I just couldn't hold it in. So I told her, like, Mom, I have a bully, and he messes with me every day at the bus stop, and I don't know what to do. And, she's like, oh no, not my baby. So then I have to go to school, and we have this huge meeting. I go into the meeting. It's my principal, it's my mom, it's my dad, and the bully and his mom. And of course, you just never know how people grow up. She's like, oh, not my baby. He doesn't do this. We go to church, we go to A, B, and C. And I'm looking at her like, he is so mean. Like, what do you mean? Like, he's not nice. So he got in trouble, which made me even more nervous, because one thing I didn't want to do, and a lot of people don't want to do, is they don't want to confront their bully because they think it's going to get worse, which is why I didn't want to do anything. And it did get worse for me slightly, just for a little bit, but not from him. Because, it's like, okay, so I'm a guy. Apparently it looks, I don't know what he's thinking, but I'm thinking apparently he looks bad because I'm this big 12th grader messing with this little 9th grade little girl. So I'm going to get my 12th grade female friends to get on her anyway. So I'll be like, oh man. So they messed with me for a little bit, like maybe for a week, and then they like left me alone. And then I didn't have to deal with it anymore. But that experience was so much for me, because for me, not even like, I was terrified to walk up the street to the bus stop. Like, my stomach was in knots, and I'm like, oh, okay, I hope he's sick today. He doesn't come to school, And I'm like, maybe he'll like get a car and he can drive like the other 12th graders there. But I was just so nervous. And so I know how it feels to be like physically scared, emotionally boxed in, and just not knowing what to do, because someone is going to physically or saying they're going to physically harm you if you say anything, if you try to get help. So I understand how that feels, and it's not a good feeling. So even if you have, if you are being bullied in that way, I do want to encourage you to stand up for yourself. Cause like I said, it got a little bit worse for me for like a week, but it like no one put their hands on me. It was just comments like, you know, well, oh, excuse me. Let me make sure I say, excuse me. I don't want anyone, you know, going to the principal on me. But I just want to encourage people, you know, you have to stand up for yourself, because when you have situations like that, when you don't stand up for yourself, then it will create an avenue to where other situations may happen where they may be a little more serious and you're afraid to stand up for yourself. And you don't want to create that that insecurity or that challenge for yourself when you're growing up, and if you're an adult, you know, for the rest of your adult life, because no one has the right to put their hands on you. You don't have to take anything that someone's saying to you negatively. And if you don't take anything from this, just know your rights and know your worth. No one has the right to touch you. If you don't want anyone to touch you, don't let them touch you, and say, hey, don't touch me. You know, like, don't say that to me, or you can't. You have to stand up for yourself in any way, even if it's with your boss. You know, you may not be boop, boop, boop like that on their face, because you do have to work there if you want to keep your job. But you can respectfully say, you know, like, you're not going to take this type of behavior and it's not professional. So I just want to encourage everyone, no matter what type of bullying you may be experiencing, to stand up for yourself. And for parents who have children, you know, pay attention to the signs. Like, you know your child. If they're acting a little weird, or they don't want to go to a certain place that they used to go to, like, investigate, see why. And if, you know, a lot of times, especially teenagers, are not going to tell you. Do your own like private parent investigation. Like, let me go around the corner, see what's going on. You know, you have to be actively engaged in children's lives, because they're not going to tell you all the time what's going on. And nobody wants to either get their friends in trouble or be the person that got the big bully in trouble, because a lot of times bullies are popular for good reason or bad reason. So I just want to encourage all my viewers today just to do that. Do you have any comments before I continue?
Continue. Free yourself.
Like I've been talking the whole time. So yeah, like, I just want to encourage everyone to look at themselves, like I said, and reflect. Have you been bullied? And if you have you dealt with that situation? Because it could be something as small as, you know, oh, my sister told me I skipped a year for my birthday and I never really got over it. Or it could be something serious, like, you know, I was verbally and physically abused and I was manipulated and bullied in that way. You were getting ready to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to know, how low did you get in spirit? Because just for an example, I have worked in the school system for almost 20 years, only dealing with students who've gotten sent out of class, disciplinary problems. And I've seen these types of behaviors. And a lot of times it comes from what they seen their parents do to other people. Mm-hmm. So it trickles, like you said, it trickles down to their the verbiage, their tone, their actions, and all of that. If my parents can do it to me, I can do it to other people. And the actions that we see in the hallways. Now, that's just for students. And sometimes I just ought to, even now, when you see students, young people that look, they call them nerds, or, you know, they're mm-hmm. not whatever. And I'm like, God, I hope that people or students, whether their age or older, don't pick on them. They're just targets. Mm-hmm. But again, they get so low in spirit. That's where a lot of the deaths comes from.
Yes.
Yeah, because they, like you said, you didn't want to go to the bus stop. You know, it's terrible. You feel really bad within. Your spirits are so low and your heart is beating, because as soon as you see,
so hard.
Yes, as soon as you see that person, it just brings something up in you. So parents, I admonish you to check out how your kids treat other kids, mm-hmm. let alone how they treat adults. I mean, that we're not even talking about that. That's another broadcast. But how you talk to your kids, how you speak to your kids. How often do you pop your kids, just for something that's minute. So just the thing about it is just caring. And then that's for more so children, but adults, I know adults bully other adults. So we really have to be careful how we interact with other people, how we care for other people. Usually it is where we really don't care about ourselves, because you treat other people the way you want to be treated. And if that's the way you want to be treated, that's a different story. But that bullying, it drives people to a dark place. And then in that dark place, they come up with the thoughts and the ideas. How am I going to get back at so-and-so? How am I going to get back at them? And whether it's an adult, of how am I going to get back with them, to them, go back to the, give them what they gave me. Or if it's a student, it's just so amazing. So I just like Takira has said, I admonish, or I encourage the audience, watch your children, see how their spirits are when they, especially, well, a lot of the students are not in school, because all of them did not go back. And so probably the students that were being bullied, they're kind of relieved that they don't have to go back. Really, as much as they love education, but we really do have to keep an eye out. And then even the point of saying, because I've seen it, even the point of saying, you go back and you hit him, or you do, how are you retaliating? So it don't build fire on top of another fire. Be the bigger person, kind of like, okay, let's talk about this. I know all situations you probably can't, I know that, but there are some that we can really talk through. But what I wanted to say, Takira, I'm thinking about the one that bullied, the young lady that bullied you. When you said that and you wanted to know how she was doing it, I'm like, who can? Right. Only Takira want to know how she's doing.
I know. It was I know, because it was literally a couple months ago, and I was like, I wonder how she's doing. Like, and it's so funny, and that just goes to show you, like, the love of God. Like, when you let the love of God, like, radiate through you. And I've always felt like, I deep down, like, I have, like, the gift of love, like, having God's heart, because like you said, why would I care about a bully? But when I was thinking about her, sometimes I feel like it's just God talking through me, and it's not really like Takira, because Takira's like, whatever, like, but I'm not even upset with her. And I was like, I wonder how she's doing, because now that I'm older, I can see that some of those, the reason, I don't know why the reason, but how she was treating others who were smaller than her, that had to be from a place of pain. Like, someone had to be, being either mean to her, or she has witnessed that, because the things that she would say that were so mean verbally, and how she just would pick on other kids, that's a learned behavior. Like, you don't come out the womb ready to just pick on people and fight them for no reason. Something had to happen to her. And I was just wondering, like, I wonder if she's okay. And I hope she is okay. Like, I hope she's having a great life, and I hope she's not bullying other people, and like, still, and God forbid, like, she has children and they're being bullied by somebody who was like her. Because a lot of times it's like, ironically, if you're the bully, when you have kids, and then you don't see how it affects people until now your child is being bullied. And I don't wish that on anybody, So I really do hope she's okay. I haven't seen her since I was like, I don't know, like 9. So I don't know.
That's good. I tell you what, it's amazing though, how that can go from one generation to the next generation.
And a lot of people, since we don't really teach in our culture, in most cultures, how to deal with that, you do have a lot of people who take on that vengeance, like, oh, I'm going to get such and such back. So if they're not the person who tries to get you before you get them, they might be the person who calculates and plots, like, okay, so I'm going to get this person back. And a lot of times when you see like deaths and like murders and things on the news, it's always like a retaliation or a crime of emotion. Like, I'm so upset with you, I have to get you back because you did something to me. But we never really teach or learn how to deal with those conflicts and those situations. And they're very real, even if they're so, it seems like it's such a small thing. It's not a big thing to be worried about, but when it bothers you in here and in here, and you just can't let it go, that's such a big thing. And that's something that needs to be worked out as a whole. So that's why I said, this is bullying part 1, because it's such a big part of our culture that it's almost desensitized a little bit until something tragic happens. Like the 9-year-old, the last 9-year-old that killed himself. I can't imagine a 9-year-old like you think you're a little bit grown when you're like 10, like, oh, I'm getting older now, but a 9-year-old is just a baby. It's just a kid, and I can't imagine what a 9-year-old could feel when you have so much life ahead of you. You have so many years to do whatever you want to do and just become whatever you want to become, and you're not able to see a ray of hope, a ray of sunshine, which is why I love this platform, because that's all we're trying to do, is just to show people that there is hope, there is another way. You don't have to take your life. You don't have to stay in that depressed place because if you're being bullied or whatever. We just want to show people that there is hope. There's a chance that things could change. Yes. And I've been in that low place where I just felt like nothing, like not with the bullying, but just in life where I just want things to change and I don't see a way out. And I'm just here to tell you, I'm still here. And there is a way, because sometimes you think of a positive person, like, oh, she's so positive. No, I've been in a low, dark place before. So if you're listening to this and you have been, there really is hope. Reach out for help, because there are people like me who would love to even just listen. If you need to vent, I'll listen to what's going on. And then what I usually do when people vent to me is I ask, may I give you my opinion? Or may I offer this suggestion? If they say no, I'm not offended. No, it's okay. If you just want to talk, that's fine. But you just need an outlet to release that pent up emotion, that anger, that hurt. And I just want everyone to listen. It really will be okay, especially if you're being bullied. I know you may think, man, this is never going to end. But just hang on, because there really is light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to get there.
Yes. This is wonderful. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Takira, for being transparent and sharing hope, encouragement, and inspiration. Don't forget, to everyone who views, our YouTube channel is waiting on you, because you have become a part of our team by going to the channel and subscribing, commenting, whatever mechanism you had to share this message of hope, encouragement, and inspiration. You are a part of us. You are a part of us. And we're going to have some items coming soon that you'll be able to purchase so that you can let people know you have been a part. Just the thought of it. You have been a part of Project 365. And even to our audience that shares, there are several individuals of you who just share our broadcast. And so that's taking it to a whole nother level. That's opening other doors, people that we don't even know, Takira and I don't know, but you are helping us to share the message of hope, encouragement, and inspiration. And we so appreciate it. Thank you. Don't forget, when you can, go to our website, www.trophyoflife.org. We have a few things coming up. One is July 17th. Don't forget, we are calling widows and widowers together. We will have the Synergy Network Empowerment Summit. We had it last year, and we're going to have it again this year. Then don't forget our health challenge. Don't forget to write in and let us know which broadcasts resonated with you the most, and you'll get we're going to award some type of prize, something. Oh, and let me tell you that at the end of the health challenge, the pot is up to $200. So we're looking for people to match the $50 that Trophy of Life is going to give, the $50 that Takira is giving, the $50 that Dr. Vicki Johnson is giving, the $50 that Angela Showell is giving. Anybody that wants to match it, let me know. Let me know. Cash App us. $ Trophy of Life. Okay? Lord knows what it will be up to when we hit July 16th. And you're getting all of that. All right? We thank you for tuning in. And guess what? We will see you on tomorrow. Thanks again, Takira. I love you. God bless you.
Love you too. Bye, guys.